Hi, it's Grandma from Grandma's Footsteps, and today we're going to continue with our memory book. Right, now let's see, where did we get to? We finished page 1, both sides, that side and that side, and we added this little page here between page 1 and page 2. So we're going to start with this one, as I promised. Now, we'd already picked out the backing paper for this, which was this one. And I said I wasn't going to stick it on until I decided whether or not we wanted any flips and flaps so that we could hide the edge. And I've decided I do want flips and flaps. So what we're going to put in here is this. But first of all, I'm going to tell you how I made this. Now, basically, I cut two of these out of plain pink. And then what I did was I took my these are my lace dies here, and these come in 3 separate parts, and they cut an outside edge, a fancy bit, and an inside edge. Okay, so all you need to do to cut lace is to don't go together, put them together like so. So what I did is I took the outside edge first on its own, and I put it up against this here on my plain pink card here, and put it through the die cut machine. I then did the same thing with the second layer and cut the fancy edge. Okay, now then I laid one on top of the other, and I cut the top one shorter at this end so that they overlap nicely like that. Then I took both pieces, all 3 pieces of the lace die like this, and I placed it on some white card and cut out a piece of lace twice. And then I glued the piece of lace just inside the edge there, giving you this lacy effect with the scalloped type edge. So that's how I made that. I then stuck the small one on top of the big one, and I added some papers just to make it a little bit more interesting than the plain pink, and I scored and folded over 1/2 centimetre, 5 mils on this end. So now what we need to do is to glue that down. There we go. My red liner tape. Dun, dun, dun. Against the fold edge there, like so. We won't need any tape, any glue as well this time, because the tape is going to hold it. And we'll smooth that down. Now, the tape is just a tiny bit wide here, but it doesn't actually matter because we're going to be putting the main backing sheet on here, and that will stick to it while it covers up the hinge. Okay. Today it doesn't want to come off, just typical. So there we go. Or rather, it did want to come off, but it wanted to all come off together. Okay, got it. Fold that back now, and we're ready to glue this in. Now, I like to have the hinge side facing me, because then I can see exactly where I'm placing it. And basically we're just doing exactly the same as we did when we put the small page in. So effectively we're putting in another small page. Okay, there we are, and that is your small page there. And now we add our inner page, and you can see here how that piece that we cut, the decorative piece that we cut here, hides the hinge on our flaps. So that's why we always try to plan ahead and check that we've what we're going to do before we glue down the background piece. So I'm just going to glue this now and see whether we're ready to go, and glue it on. There we are. Oh yes, glue the desk. I've glued the desk. Okay, you can all Laugh at me now. Okay, here we are. We've glued the desk and now I'm ready to stick this on. Okay. And get a nice level board around the other sides. Push it on, nice and firmly. Try and get it straight. And we'll put on a couple of close pegs, particularly on the corners, and get it to lay down nicely, hopefully. Okay, so a few more pegs on there, and that should be nice and safe to stick. So I will need to put that to one side to dry just a little bit, but I have started to prepare the other side of this page here, and it's a very simple one. So we just have our background piece, and I do like to build up my pages on the background piece and just glue the background piece onto the page where it is in the book. And what I've got is I've got a little circle that came from the paper pad that I'm using, the 12 by 12 one, and by first edition. Okay, I've got the 12 by 12 and the 6 by 6, but I've got this lovely circle here, and I'm going to put glue just round part of it here. So I'm effectively making a tuck spot there. I'll just pop it into the corner, just to make sure that that will go in there and not get glue on it. Because if it gets glue on it at that point, I've done it wrong. So we stick that in there like that, effectively. Yep, I think I need a little bit more glue under here, so I'm going to use my... Oh dear, I've just pulled my glue apart, my glue pot apart. I pulled this little metal bit off, so... Okay, I was getting a bit rough there. So I'm just going to put a little bit more glue there. I want it to hold nice and firmly as a tuck spot. So what I did, after I've decided how this was going to go, in the front of the 12 by 12, in fact in front of both of them, there is some free stickers. So what I did was I took the teddy bear sticker and I stuck him onto a piece of plain white card. I then trimmed up both sides of him, found the middle, and put the points or the sloping sides down there. So now he can sit in there into that tuck spot very nicely, and I think he looks lovely. But I will probably want a hole in the top there, so I'm going to use my crocodile here and make I think a small hole. So I'm just going to line it up on this side, or at least I will, if I can actually get it to change. No, it's not going to change, so we'll just line it up like so. Make a... Oh, it's out of shot, I apologise. It's very difficult to keep this thing in shot because it's so big and heavy. Just going to make a hole there so that I can later add a ribbon or something to that. Okay, now these items that I've used here were actually designed to be tags, so they have a mark on them for the for where you're going to make the hole. Now I'm not keen on seeing that, so I'm going to bring in my pad here, and this is where the stickers are, and I'm going to pick a sticker to go on. Sorry about that, I hit the tripod and nearly knocked the camera flying at that point. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a little sticker here. I'm going to use one of these little hearts, I think, there, and I'm going to put it on his tag or his thing just there, making it look pretty and covering up that where it was going to be a hole. So that is your very simple page that I promised you, and we can probably now remove the not paper clips either, they're pegs from the page there, and glue this down. I think the other side of this paper is a little yes, bright, which I don't think I'll be using that side of the paper in my baby book. I don't think. Okay, and yes, you caught it. I have glued the desk. And you wonder why I always have baby wipes to hand. There we go. And that one is going on there like so, and we'll just smooth it down nicely. I think that's just a couple of pegs this time. One I think there, one there possibly, because that's just pushed up a little. Yep, there. And possibly just there to make sure that that sticks. Pop Teddy in his little space there, and there he is in his tuck spot. We'll add a ribbon and such like to him later on when we do our embellishments and such like. Okay, so now we have, oh yes, I'd forgotten a button. I was going to glue a button on here just because it's a button and it's pretty, and yeah, it's just what I associate buttons with babies. So we'll put a button on there, and it's going to go on top of that heart there and look absolutely amazing. Okay, I'm not sure a peg will reach there, so I'm going to have to be careful because it's going to take a little while to dry and I don't want to knock it off, but there you go. So I'll probably just take a small pause while this dries and I'll be back to you. Hi, yeah, I think we've dried off here quite nicely, so we can continue now with page 2 proper. And this particular one here on the front is quite a simple one again. I may well put lots of embellishments on, but this is what I've decided to do on this one, and you can see that this just turns like this and it opens. It's got an acetate on it to make it like a photo frame, and that's basically what I'm going to do on there. And this lovely piece of ribbon. The ribbon is beautiful and sparkly, the background is sparkly, it's got lovely hearts and little baby's shoes on it. But I want to explain to you how I made the photo frame. Okay, first of all I cut a large oval with a small scalloped edge out of this lovely lemon card. I then took, I think it was 3 sizes smaller die, and I placed it on top of that, but off centre. So we've got a wide piece on this side and a narrow piece on this side, and I cut the hole. I then took a die which was between the largest and the smallest, and out of that I cut a piece of acetate, which I then attached to the back, like so. Yeah. And that's basically your frame. I then creased down here, down this edge, just a small fold here, and that's made a hinge. And then using the, I think it might be the film strip dies, I've cut one of these tags out, folded it over double, and it has a hole in this end. So I made a tiny hole in the backing paper here and got a lovely pink flower shaped brad, pushed that through there as you can see, flattened it down, and that's the brad which allows this to turn and holds the photo frame closed. Now with the ribbon, I literally just put a little bit of glue right down the edges, put that on there, and as you can see, I've attached it quite firmly at the back. Again, this is because I hate raw edges. So we will attach this to that, and that page will be done. Simples. Right. Okay. Yep. Oh dear. I thought that was something stuck to the page then, but it isn't. It's my brad. Right. Put a nice bit of glue there. And away we go. Stick him on, and let's see how we go. There he is. Or she is, whichever. I don't know that bits of paper should have genders, but it's just something I tend to say. Okay. There we are, nice and firmly. I would recommend with something like this to put a peg on it, simply because it's a bit thicker than the rest of it, and you don't want the corners popping up later on, do we? So there we go. There we go. Yeah, nice, pretty. Okay, so we're going to need that to dry just a bit, but as I said, this glue does dry very quickly, and we can always add a little bit extra under a piece if it doesn't glue down properly using our fine tip glue. We can add a little glue under there and just give it an extra press down. Okay, so that's your very simple page just there, and we'll move on to the next page. Now while that dries, we'll have a look at what I've prepared for the next page. Firstly, I've chosen a beautiful piece of paper with teddy bears on. Just beautiful little teddy bears. The same teddy bears I used on the tag, actually, thinking about it. And also, I cut some diamond shaped pieces here out of different double-sided papers, so that when you flip them up, they look pretty on both sides. Now, I call this an alternative waterfall, because it's not just a waterfall that just goes down there, because you've got the two bits either side, and they are a more different and more interesting shape. But there they are. So that's what I've done, and I've attached them two together in the middle there, and two together there, and just tried to make them line up as best as possible so that they look pretty. Okay, now in order to use something like this, we do need to have something to hold it down, because it's just going to flap all over, and I didn't really want to sit here and put loads of magnets in them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a kind of a belly band closure. Okay, so I started off by taking a simple piece of white card and cut it to, I believe it was 2 centimetres, let me just check that, 2 centimetres wide, yeah, and longer than the page. I then cut it in half, because it does need to overlap, but or slightly different to half. I don't want it overlapping right slap bang in the middle. And then to the front side of it, I added a piece of lace, and over that this very pretty ribbon with the pink flowers. Now on this piece I added a magnet there underneath the ribbon, so that it's sort of hidden. It's not perfect, but, and then at the other end you fold over your half a centimetre or 5 mil. Sorry, I totally forgot what I was doing then. That side, and then when we put this one on this side here and that one on there, we want that to cover. So what we've got to do is we've got to add a magnet so that it touches that. Now I could sort of just take the magnet, which I have here, and I could try it in different places and see if I can get it to stick. But there is an easier way. If I, that didn't attract, that did the opposite. Stick that on top of there, okay. It's now exactly where I want it. And I will take a piece of my red liner tape, not a very big piece, just a small piece, and I will stick that to the, or attempt to stick it to the magnet there, like so, okay? Just stick it to the magnet, yeah. Now, I think it would probably be a good idea if I place this hinge in the correct place while I'm doing this, because I want the magnet to end up on here and in the right place, but if this isn't set right, it probably won't. So I'm going to put some glue on there, like so, and I'm going to pop it under that and line it up so that the two run parallel, like so, okay. Now I'm in the right place for the magnet on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the backing from the tape there, like that. Close this down where I want it, like so. Press on the magnet, and when I lift it up, it is stuck. It is stuck here to this end, just exactly where I want it, so that when we close it and open it, it's in exactly the right place. Now I've done that, but I've also, as you may notice, the inside of this is in this lovely pink gingham, so I've cut a piece of pink gingham which fits on there, and will cover up the magnet. So always a little bit of extra glue around the magnet, because you don't want that moving. Bit of glue on my liner here, which is nice there, and doesn't want to be picked up. Put it on there and smooth that down, making sure I haven't obstructed the hinge, that end. Get it nice and straight, if possible, like so. Yeah, and there is your closure there, in exactly the right place, and the magnet will catch every time and it won't be a problem. Right, having done that, I decided that this area was a little bit boring. Yes, a little bit plain. What I've done is I've made a little pocket to go in there. Just very simple. I've cut the half of one of these. Just put the die on the edge of the card, so we just get this piece in white, in the white card, and did exactly the same thing in the pink gingham, although slightly smaller. And then all we do is we attach this like a pocket, just round the three sides, and nicely there. And yes, we've glued the desk. Put it, and my glue is trying to run away and roll onto the floor. Nothing unusual there. And yes, we just pop that on there like so. Let it down. Nick the pegs off this piece here and make sure it's attached. Like so. Oops. That little bit of wriggled then. Okay. And the reason I put the white card behind it is A, you get this nice white edge, which sort of frames it, and B, because it makes it firmer and not floppy. Making the pockets out of pure paper just makes them floppy. So yeah, unless you have a good quality double-sided paper like we have here, but there, that pocket will take the weight of whatever your recipient wants to put into it. I will give that just a minute, and then we'll... Okay. Okay, so I'm back now. My husband tells me I'm waffling in this video, so I'll try to stop waffling and be more professional and business-like. Okie dokes. Now, we just need to stick this into here. And that's what I'm going to do right now, hopefully. And I can't glue the desk because the glue's not coming out. Right. Here we go. I said that on purpose because he mentioned that I was waffling and talking about gluing the desk. Just because I think it's funny that I seem to be totally incapable of doing any gluing without gluing my desk. He doesn't think it's funny, so okay. And I think this is what he means by waffling. It's just difficult to know what to say when you're just adding a load of glue to something. Oh yes, I'm adding a load of glue to this. Okay, here we go. I'm now going to stick it in. Okay, here we go. Yep, right. Oh, you can actually do this and do it so that your page is flatter, which is a very good idea, and I should have shown you that before, but I didn't. Perhaps I just like doing things the hard way. Right, and of course the other thing that we need to do is to add, of course, some pegs. And also I like to look and make sure that these bits like here are stuck in. Now look, here we have a problem. The ribbon is not stuck in properly. It's popped out. I can't have that. So I'm going to put a nice bit of glue in under there, and I will use my bone tool to push it in. And yes, look, I've glued my bone tool, and put a couple of pegs on it there and there, because I definitely do not want that sticking out. I'm glad that happened, really, so that I could show you how simple these things are to fix. I know that a lot of particularly new crafters, when they have a problem like that, will get very upset and maybe throw their hands in the air and say, "Oh no, I've ruined it, I can't do this, I've ruined it." And I've been there and done that. But it's crafting. There is always a way. If things go absolutely, completely dire and dismal, if all else fails and you don't know what to do, you can cut the page off and start again. You know, it's nothing is things that you can't fix, except possibly the one that worries me the most, and that is actually spilling a cup of coffee all over it. But you know, even so, you could make another book. So there you go, all done. So that's our page 2. That's it for today. I'll soon be back with page 3. I have in fact added another little page here between page 2 and page 3, and we will be decorating that and page 3 on the next video. So for now, cheerio, thanks for watching, take it easy, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.